And then another thing that came up was about sitting comfortably in the unknown. How about just sitting comfortably with your feelings, sitting comfortably with your unmet needs in that moment, sitting comfortably with, oh, this experience just happened, and just sitting in that, allowing that reality to be, and you're sitting in it rather than reacting to it, responding to it, freaking out about it, projecting about it, running from it. Like, there's so many different ways that we respond to things, but how often are we just sitting with the thing and allowing it to be without having to do anything about it?
Almost never. Almost never. It seems like we're looking for that illusion of control. And at least for me, I'm very much a doer. I'm a, by nature, and it's funny why the things we get interested in are kind of the antithesis of what's natural to us if we're on a path of self-improvement. It's like the things that are least natural is the area where I'm trying to shore up. So I got someone to mindfulness, not because I was naturally mindful or naturally good at sitting, because I was fidgety. It's because I couldn't sit still. It's because my body hurts. It's because my mind is always out there trying to do, and it couldn't sit. And it still can't most of the time. You had to. I said it 3 times, so you wrote them. Do you?
You are responsible for that one. I'm putting blame. I am blaming you.
We'll talk, I'm going to talk more about responsibility. We will definitely get there. But that one I'm not taking. I'm not taking. Oh man.
Well, I'll have to sit with. I'll just sit in you not taking that doo-doo as your statement. But that's fine. Go ahead. Please continue.
I'll try my best. Oh man, that's why we end up doing these things. Often, if you're on a self-improvement, you try to shore up your weak spots. And I think one thing I've noticed with how much I'm trying to do and why I'm always going is, I think you're right. Like there's an illusion of control that's offered, and it's very egoic. There's the ego. I think if you brought that up, I'm not a psycho philosopher or psycho anything enough to really break it down, but that ego distinction versus other parts of the mind and other parts of how we understand the psyche are important. But it's that illusion of control. And I feel a lot more like I'm in control when I'm doing, when I'm driving, when I'm moving, than when I'm sitting. Or maybe I'm the most just like receptive to whatever and the most able to feel how little control I actually have.
When ironically, you have the most control when you're sitting alone in a room doing nothing.
Yeah. You might not feel that way. That's what I found. Yeah. The mindfulness gives you that space to not reflexively just like react, but to respond, which is a form of power, which is a form of control. If you can sit through the discomfort of, not feeling, again, it's an illusion of control that the ego's looking for. It's an illusion of control because at the end of the day, there's really not, you take it far enough, we all die. You cannot deny that. There is always something outside of your grasp. And yeah, like you said, a great payoff if you can get there, but you got to sit through the muck for a while. Same in relationships. And that same relationships, if you're trying to understand something, to understand, you have to first not know. And you have to sit through the not knowing for a second, for a minute, for an hour, for a day. And that can be really uncomfortable.
Man, I think for a lot of people, that's a lifelong journey of being able to not try to fix or impact or the audio, I guess. I don't know how would you call it, Ram Dass narrating the great way, which is something that you sent to me, which I start many of my days listening to him with that very short message, because it is really like beautiful and just so on the nose, of things that, like, when you hear it, you're like, okay, I get it. Like, this makes sense. I resonate. Like, and yet, if I don't hear it every day, and if I'm just moving through mindlessly, which I think is part of it, if I'm not present in my experience, it's really easy to be influenced and manipulated by my surroundings and this environment that we are experiencing. And I think presence is a big piece of it, at least for me in my experience, being able to slow down and just be in this moment. That helps me to kind of clear away a lot of the lack of clarity or the haziness of what's happening, because my mind, as we know, the mind will fill in any gap that it doesn't know with something. Whether it's the ego, whether it's, just the human biological thought process. I don't know where the responsibility lies for this phenomenon, but it is real. And I've seen it in my life. I've experienced it, and every client that I've ever worked with, there is, and every human I've ever talked to, there is this thing that happens where if you don't know what's going on, that's not good enough for some aspect of your mind. To not know what's going on means, oh, we need to come up with an answer, a guess, an assumption, a logical conclusion. But we've got to fill in something because to just not know is not acceptable. And so when we can overcome that and accept that we don't know, and even maybe it's saying out loud, but I think more than anything, it's an internal process of, I don't know the answer to this. And from there, you can start to get curious. And in most cases, you don't know. And that's okay. It's okay to not know.
Oh yeah. I think that really gets to it. Whether that's evolution or just yeah, I have a trained in biology. I like very much go to evolution.